out there. Lost Jethro friend early Troy. We're still yet to see him back onto the field, but I think they've covered pretty well.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit rusty as they were trying to, work out how the halves were going to roll, and they certainly, as you said, certainly got that tidied up in the back half of the first half. That makes sense in that last 20-odd minutes. Had a bit of an air wig over there as Sean was addressing the team, and Nick Evans did pick up a bit of looks like a split ear or something, but he shrugged that off, and they'll be clearing that up. They're really impressed with their middles at the moment. The big boys are doing the job. They're rolling down the centres, and they're under the belief that Otahuhu don't want a bar of that. They're trying to take them on the edges, so that was more of the same for them. And I then ducked over and had a quick word we'll listen to the quick word from the Otahuhu side, and they want their halves to be more dominant in the game. And I think there's a wee bit of a communication issue there where some of the boys are getting a little bit frustrated, so rather than talking at each other, they want to talk with each other to try and turn that around.
So you can see Nick Wilson, who Troy touched on. He's back into the team huddle with some fairly heavy-duty head strapping. A fair bit of strapping going on there, in fact, finger as well. And Jesse Albrett was the other one who looked in some real discomfort, perhaps with a shoulder or arm injury, and you can see him there just stretching those arms out, so remains to be seen if he will be able to get through this second half. I don't look too concerned about it all, but certainly travelling pretty nicely. And Troy, it's interesting you mention the halves for the Otahuhu Leopards. They've been getting down the field and into good positions, but probably one area they certainly do need to improve on is that game management, and hopefully we can see a little bit more creativity from this Leopards team, because they've probably been lacking a bit in that first half.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, mate, just caught me on the hop there as we're saying to the referees they're all sort of set, ready to head back to the halfway mark and to restart this match. As I said, from the halftime chat, wanted more from their halves. I think the communication around being a wee bit frustrated for the boys, and that comes from being pinned deep down inside your half, having to grind it out from inside the 10, inside the 20, and only really having the maybe 4 times they visited the competitors' try line, and nothing came of it. And I think big frustration when you had 3 penalties back to back to back, and not to score points off that certainly would have played on their minds. So not long now until we get back into it. Referee Chris McMillan in position and ready to get us back underway here, and it's going to be a big second half. Of course, whoever does go down today, it will be their first loss in a month. And we are back to it. Otahuhu kicking off, and the Hornets will run it towards the club room's end here at Bert Henham Park. You're joining us for round 7 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership qualifiers. We're back here in a couple of weeks' time as well for the Queen's Birthday representative match. Auckland taking on Samoa Okalani, and the curtain raiser between the Auckland under-18s and the Matimaʻatonga New Zealand under-18s. Scott Jones, who was brilliant in the first half, a number of carries and did damage on most of them. Of course, a reshuffle in the forward pack for the Hornets with the loss of Friend. Reece Charlie's gone to play dummy half, which will trigger a reshuffle. Luckily, they do have fairly strong middle core, and as Troy mentioned, a good kick there in back play. It was nearly 40-20 actually. Fielded in the end by the Leopards, who now get their first use of the ball in the second half. Yeah, and just as they start grinding it again out deep from inside their 20, their 30, some of the boys from the Otahuhu Leopards just getting back into shape now and getting ready to carry the ball up and do some work. Leafy gets onto the ball and takes them up over halfway. There's a good carry, and Patillo gets to a quick play of the ball at the end of it, hands it off to Koya. Patillo looks to his right, finds his halfback Paki, who kicks over the top. Here's a contested one coming up. They got for it. Albrett does brilliantly, drops it and then picks it up, and now goes across field, just looking to get away from that in goal. And the Leopards get there and drive him backwards. Great work from Otahuhu, and that could be a crucial play. They earn themselves a repeat use of the ball after Albrett had done really well to initially defuse that one and get away from the end goal, but a determined chase, and they trap him in goal. Just to say that, another injury there. Looks like they're trying to indicate to one of the trainers there that, no, the winger looks like he's going to try and walk it off. He's heading back to position play there, but they looked like they were wanting to try and swap them out as we look for the drop goal. Drop out from in goal. It's gone deep.
Lining up for another one, it's Leafy. Straight back into the heart. Look at the post-contact meters that time. Great stuff from the bench man as Patillo now gets the dummy half and will centralise. Whakatau Murphy to Halani. Halani says goodbye Nick Wilson, leaves him on the ground, and now the Leopards are making some real inroads. Patillo takes them to within 10. Set heavy to the left. That's where they're going to go. Rahiri misses out Uwate. Instead finds his centre, Mikaeli, who hands off. No, will go close. Held up, though, by the Howick Hornets. Great defence from the visitors to deny the Leopards their first points of the game. Total Purcell from close range. Too big, too strong, and Connor Total Purcell gets the Leopards on the board.
As we wait for the SAS Fox replay. See young Connor loved that one. And here we go. I think a lot of work was done leading up to that try, which you won't see from that piece, as Connor basically lays out 3 Hornets and gets that ball down onto the grass. And he's actually telling them, we're on our roll. Here we come, boys.
It's a curious sort of setup that time, wasn't it? It almost looked mistimed. Connor certainly arrived a long time before the pass and telegraphed it. As it turned out, he's too powerful and
winding back. Sorry, Corey.
got there in the end.
And there was great footwork leading up to this as the centre came back in. Both centres were working in concert beautifully. Sort of got the Hornets on the scramble there. And by all accounts, that was definitely held up. Look at the position of the referee. He's right there on top of it. Calls it well. They go for the quick play, the ball here. It's waiting for the kick to come. And as you rightly said, it sort of looked like at 6s and 7s, and it was telegraphed, and they just didn't have enough strength to keep Connor out, and he certainly knew where the try line was. Great pathfinder, that boy.
So 14 points to 4, 4 minutes gone in the second half. Whakatau Murphy to attempt this conversion, which is probably maybe 10, 15 metres in from touch. Strikes it, it's terrible off the boot and terrible all round, and it will remain 14 points to 4. So the Leopards finally on the scoreboard, and it comes off really a defensive play, didn't it? The kick chase and forcing them in goal there. They earned back-to-back sets, and off the back of it, able to find points.
Yeah, great way to start the first portion of the second half, and they'll be looking to do that again, I'm sure, mate.
So updating you on some results from around the ground. The Northcote Tigers are up 16 points to 12 over the Mangere East Hawks. The Mount Albert Lions, they're up 12-6 over the Manurewa Marlins. Glenora lead Richmond 26 to 12.
Big run from the back gate. Sorry, mate.
Marist Saints all locked up with the Papakura Sea Eagles, and the Point Chevrolet Pirates 16 over the Barrascool Vikings 10.
I think we're seeing a wee bit more intent here from Otahuhu.
We are indeed, and Richard Halani adds to that with a good carry up to halfway. Paki, they're going to play it here as they go out to this right edge where Nuka Nuka somehow keeps the ball alive. Paki gets to the kick. Olivetti is under it. It bounces awkwardly, and this is still loose. Is that knocked on? Yes, it is. Knock on from the Leopards, which means we will pack down. And in fact, it was on last, so it'll be a play the ball. So the Howick Hornets do well that time. It was an awkward one for Peter Olivetti, landed right between him and the chasers.
Big shout out to Mike Farrelly, the major sponsor of the Women's Rugby League here at the ARL. He's around the park, and great to see Mike down here as one of our major sponsors at the ARL.
Charlie to Tau. Takes them up over halfway. Papa to Nick Wilson. Wilson is well contained that time. Tane Paki doing a good job defensively, holding up his edge. By no means the biggest body out there, but holding his own right now. Hotini puts a towering kick up, and it's at the back. It's uncontested, and Whakataumafi claims it, which means we'll go back to the 20.
Wait. No. You gotta wait for him. Here I come.
So Mikaeli shakes out of the first one, then looks to put a little bit of footwork on, but is contained by Connor Morris with help from Hotini late. And as well, Hurricane Roberts on his Fox debut. Ferriu takes the ball forward. Here's Toto Purcell lining up for another one. Does well to get back up to his feet as well, and then chucks the ball out the back. They lose yardage on it in the end. It broke down, and, well, it really broke down in the end because it's a knock-on.
Just trying to force it too much there, eh? A lot of enthusiastic people around the park today, Corey. Few fans down here. It's the home of the Otahuhu Leopards.
I'm just glad the two gentlemen on the hill who were screaming Mati Maatonga over and over through the reserve game have appeared to find something else to do.
No, they lost their voice, mate.
So they pack down 45 off the line here, the Howick Hornets, after conceding early in this second half. Looking to bounce back. They lead by 10. So Charlie receives from the back, Hotini, and now they're going to change direction up on them, and Gillett will take this ball forward and chews off plenty of meters in the process as well. A couple of different little plays they're putting together here, the Howick Hornets. Nick Wilson, Patillo, who has been very good for the Leopards today. Really made the most of those quick play the balls. He's got some speed on a dummy half as well. Here's Jonah Tau, a try scorer in the first half. Charlie goes to the line to Hotini, Voeti Bau, who had thoughts of playing out the back to Olivetti. Jones has taken a ground. Charlie. Papa will dribble the kick in behind, but it's cleaned up nicely that time by Nuka Nuka, who then fights for a couple of extra meters and will be taken down. Needs to be careful he stays away from that sideline. A boot has been lost in back play and promptly chucked into the crowd and then thrown back into the field by one of the ladies. Patillo brings in Timaloa. Good yardage here from Otahuhu early. Shuffling on now, Mikaeli gets it, holds it up, goes through a little half gap here. Mikaeli still fighting his way through. Boy, he's a specimen when he gets into a little bit of space. Nono Na'a jumps out of dummy half. Now they're going to move the ball. Paki will go high. Albrecht's under it, so is Olivetti. Goes up, well taken by Peter Olivetti. And Tane Paki on hand to drive him into ground. They look at their best when they come out to this left edge. I think Troy, Emiliano Mikaeli, a couple of really classy touches. Looks right now like probably the spot where they can do the most damage.
Yeah, I agree. And it'll be interesting to see if they go back there. They're certainly getting a couple of completions together. So, you know, a wee bit more patience on the ball. We'll see how we build.
Contact that time from Koya. 40 off their own line here, the Howick Hornets. They swing out the back, and Hotini will kick from inside the 40. It's not going to matter. There's good coverage at the back for the Leopards. And now this one might actually roll all the way. Yes, it will just. Well, he played the patient game that time. Whakataumafi will no doubt breathe a sigh of relief as that one hits the chalk, and they're back to the 20. And we'll go again. No, Na'a. First saw him in action at the SportSafe AR9s earlier this year. He was a very effective weapon at that level with his frame and speed. Doesn't get tackled first time too often. Tane Paki now, they're going to move to the right. This is Timalua. And the ball comes out and it's recovered by Howick. Bit of frustration starting to come in now for the Leopards, who are playing some good football, but perhaps guilty of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit with some of their decisions right now. Trent Bishop. Contained well that time. Another tackle for Koya. He's been busy in defence today. Reece Charlie will jump out of dummy half now and go low. Tane Paki with another tackle. Really have to give it up to Tane Paki for his defensive showing today. Been very impressive in what has been a game with plenty of big bodies in contact. Now as Nick Wilson heads down the left exploring options. It has been the favoured side, you would say, the Howick Hornets, as Royden Gillett prepares to become the de facto dummy half. Now Papa will go high. Not much depth on it, but a tester for Whakatau Murphy. He's not even going to contest it. It's loose. Cleaned up by Mikaeli, who then dummies to Na'a and instead takes the ball down 5 metres out from the line.
Looking for another strong carry here.
Ethan Furriu getting involved, the 20-year-old Otahuhu Jr., represented both counties and Samoa at junior levels. Dylan Uate. Patillo to Toto Purcell. They shuffle it on and breaks out of the first one. Ball's loose. Was that stripped? Knock on is the call.
Just not going their way. Picking that up, Corey.
Yeah, knees on the ruck, just having a little word there to Richard Halani. It is getting the talon off. Well, not really a talon off, more some friendly advice.
Pleased to see that the Howick Hornets have kept Jethro Friend on ice.
Hotini at first receiver, dancing across field, and Hotini gets into a little half gap. Look out, he's got pace. Hotini's looking for a friend. He's not going to find one this time, and the Leopards now get there. Offloads out the back, and it's kept alive, and Olivetti will just die on the footy there. But what about that from Carlos Hotini? He's threatened it all game, and that time splits the line open. Now Bishop will head out towards the left edge to Jones, who will centralise. He's taken down 20 out from the line. Howick looking for their first points of the second half. Bishop is the dummy half. It goes to Papa. Papa dummies and then sticks the nose through. He's taken out 5 out from the line. Jones to Charlie. Charlie dummies and then goes to the line. Gets a late offload away. Now Bishop. Trent Bishop will go close. Brilliant defence from Otahuhu. Right up against their line here, the Leopards. Charlie back to the left edge. Papa with a little bit of footwork. Patillo arrives just in time. Jones now will shuffle play on to Wilson. It's messy. Otahuhu have got it. And they survive. But what about that? Brilliant stuff from both teams. Troy Howick throwing plenty at them in attack, but the commitment of the Leopards on their line just kept getting there in numbers.
Yeah, and it's certainly taken a wee bit of bit of gas out of the tank, as the boys have got to grind it back out again. Here they come.
So a really good game in our hands here. And it's the Leopards who lead by 10. And is that a costly error? Knock on, and Olivetti now will run the ball back, chews off a whole lot of meters. And after doing all that work, they put themselves under pressure once again here at Otahuhu. Here's Connor Morris jumping out of dummy half. The brother of Anthony Gelling, the former Wigan Warriors and New Zealand Warriors centre, now plying his trade with the Widnes Vikings in the UK.
Time back on.
Pulipaki lines up for a carry and is taken down about 15 out from the line. Now they go out the back, and it's Papa to Nick Wilson, who looks a little troubled by perhaps his injury picked up in the first half. Been well contained so far as well. Papa now goes to the line, holds it up, and that is nice play down the left edge. It will finish on a Royden Gillett try. But Jordan Papa, just that little bit of time he took there, held the ball up, and it was enough to create the little half gap for Royden Gillett.
Absolutely. As we look at the SAS Fox replay, as Nick Evans gets to his feet, gets to play the ball. They look like they went right, shift it back to the left side. Nice little dummy, held that up beautifully, hits the gap at pace, split the defenders, 4 points. And all of that came off the back of completions and 3 handling errors, and just Otahuhu putting them under pressure, putting themselves under pressure, I should say, as we wait for the kick to come. I'm going to have to apologise to Nick Evans because Nick Wilson's on the bench. Sorry, Nick.
Whoever
probably can't hear that anyway. He's had his ear ripped.
Whoever Nick Evans is out there, you've been getting some credit for some Axton Rugby League today.
Yeah, he's not a bad player either. He's in the mini mods.
So Jordan Papa to attempt this conversion. It's a 14-point gap as it is. It's not an easy one. About 5 in from touch up on the clubhouse end here at Otahuhu. Strikes it. And it's away. So the score remains 18 points to 4. 58 minutes gone here at Bert Henham Park. And it is the Hornets once again in control, but you get the feeling we've got a good game brewing here as we approach the final 20 minutes.
As we get a time correction from our fabulous match manager, young Peter. Otahuhu back for the reset. Here we go. Oh, the ball moved around a wee bit. Says play on.
Knocked back, and then that could well have been called forward as well. So Howick probably riding their luck a couple of times on that one. Nick Wilson.
Not Nick Evans.
He's got the next carry. Trent Bishop has now assumed those dummy half duties, and just waiting to see if Reece Charlie is still on the field. He is, and earns the penalty as well, and lets them know about it as well. So the Howick boys starting to get a bit of swagger about themselves, and will kick for touch here. A chance to, well, not put the game away, but certainly put a fair dent in this Otahuhu team if they can find points here once again with 20 minutes to play.
First penalty of the half as we see the Howick Hornets march towards the 40.
And I dare say there may be a little fire in the carries in this set. Things appear to be getting a little tense here between the two teams. Watch for Otahuhu to make a difference in defence as well. And here they go, getting there in numbers, and they put Pulipaki down to ground. Bishop, dummies, goes himself. Well done, though, to Todo Purcell and Uate, who were aware to it and promptly took the action needed. Now it's Pulipaki who drives the ball forward, flicks it out the back. Bishop's on hand to collect it. Puts a step in, Hotini, then to Voeti Bao. A try scorer in the first spell. Is he on for another down this right edge? Olivetti to Hotini, who goes to Papa. It's half to half. A little kick put in over the top, and it's going to be too deep in the end, and they'll go back out to the 20 to start again. But boy, some physical contact in the middle of the park today, Troy, and I know the scoreline is fairly lopsided right now, but that battle in the middle has been worth the price of admission. Not that it was a cost to get in today, but certainly been worth the trip down here to the field today to watch that battle.
Otahuhu from their halftime chat really wanted to steal that, middles up. That's where Howick were getting their rolls on through there, and they're going to play for a bit of pride now, especially in this last 20 minutes.
No, doing a good job to fight for some extra metres that time. And then Uate gets it, but they're up quickly are the Howick Hornets to close that down. Rahiri to Paki. They move it to the right where Richard Halani is set upon. Back to the middle. Patillo shakes out a one. Couple of tackles up their sleeve here, the Leopards. They go high off the boot. Olivetti is under it. They go up. It's loose. This will be zero call as Olivetti looks up and steps out a one. He grimaced for a minute there. Concerns for the hamstring, but appears to be okay and runs that one all the way back to the 40-metre line. And it looks like they have replaced Jesse Albrecht on that wing as well.
Yeah, I think he pulled up with a hammy as well. There's a few boys stretching in the background. Don't know if that's anything to do with a little bit of a cold snap coming through.
And in fact, Jesse's moved out to the left side. Or remained on the left side, I should say, with Morris on the right. So no reshuffle there. Trying to work out the maths involved with the Howick Hornets' early change, which saw Jethro Friend leave the field. They've covered beautifully for it as Puli Paki gets rid of one, gets rid of two, and then holding on for dear life was Sean Motumaave. Bishop to Hotini. Watch his footwork. Hotini to Voiti Bao. He's met well, though. Jammed in, and they were wise to do so that time. Emiliano Mikaeli, who's had a fine game in the centres. Hotini jumps out of dummy half. The little Benji Marshall flick. Back in field they come. Voiti Bao. There's got to be space somewhere here now. Otahuhu are scrambling. Jones dribbles the kick in behind. Wilson, there's no one around. Nick Wilson will score. And the prop kicks in behind for Nick Wilson. Looked up and just saw no one there for Otahuhu and said, we will take that, thank you very much.
The SAS Fox replay, the shield came up just as we missed the Benji, and so did half the team. Shifted back to the left-hand side, nice floating pass, and basically went to shape up here. Look at this, poetry in motion off the left boot too. And Nick goes, well, I'm going to have some of that because no one else is coming through, and just so we all know my name, Nick Wilson, up in lights.
Nicely finished off in the end there by Wilson, but what about the kick in behind from the prop, Scott Jones? The Howick forwards showing off their full array of skills today.
I would say that prop forward was Zambinium and Spredextrous. He could have kicked off both feet.
So with that try, it goes out to an 18-point lead, and you would think the conversion here probably puts beyond doubt the end result here. It would take significant transformation of how things have gone so far for the Otahuhu Leopards as Jordan Papa lines this one up now. 15 minutes to play here at Bert Henham Park. And the Howick Hornets so far making another commanding statement in what has been a very good 2019 campaign. Flags are up. Papa adds the extras. And the Hornets lead 24 points to 4 with 15 minutes to play. And it has been a fine performance from them today, Troy. They have won the battle in the middle of the park, and I think to do it without Jethro Friend as well, they're going to take a lot of confidence out of this result.
Yeah, absolutely. Losing a player of Jethro's class and being able to cover it will put them in good stead, heading into the back part of the season for sure. And still waiting for Big Bopper. Tony Tui has yet to come back.
So back to it we go. And Scott Jones, the makeshift halfback from a couple of minutes ago, gets back to a more traditional role for him and bumps the ball forward. Here's the try scorer, Nick Wilson.
That's not a surrender. That's not a surrender. Hold, go two.
Gillett is the dummy half. He will jump out and get a hit up in. Probably hasn't had as high involvement as he would have hoped today, but still getting in and doing some hard work. Now it's Hotini to Olivetti. Olivetti almost did a fake little kick there and avoided the obstruction by going to the ground. It was Brandon Lee that raced on through. Watch for Carlos Hotini in this final 10 minutes as well. His footwork could be deadly against a tiring Otahuhu line. Swing it out the back now. Papa will kick from halfway, and this will be out on the full by a long way. Lands in the car park and then over towards the canteen. Shout out to the Otahuhu old boys there on the deck, supported by the club's loyal sponsors. Want to give a shout out as well to the Howick Hornets. Great to see them with individual sponsors on the back of all the jerseys. And shout out to all sponsors. If you're supporting Grassroots Rugby League, we appreciate your contribution to the game and helping to get these two teams onto the field today as Tane Paki goes on a little run. Hornets looking to maintain what has been a fairly resolute line for them so far today. This is Bailey Porto, the 20-year-old, a builder by trade. Been pretty effective in his first stint. Let's see what he can do in his second. Rahiri to Whakatau Murphy. The late call-up to start at fullback in place of Geronimo Doyle. What difference would he have made today? Such a classy presence at the back of the field. This is Dylan Uarte now. Shakes out a 1. Gets the legs driving, offloads. Unfortunately, it's to a man in a different coloured jersey. And the Howick Hornets will go again.
Wait. Keep the knees up, 16. Stand on! Here, boys. Hold! Go, 2. Okay, out now! Here, boys, here! Go, 3.
Bishop jumps into dummy half, plays late to Tull,
Stand up!
who gets wrestled to ground 40 out from the line.
Go, 4.
And the Hornets will want to finish with a bit of a flurry here. Clock up some more points if they can. There's a decent kick which will land right between Whakatau Murphy and Nono Na'a, and in the end they almost stealed off each other and Na'a picks it up. He's well tackled down low by Trent Bishop.
Wait. Go, 1.
Ball bumped forward now by Ethan Fariu, another of the 20-year-olds in this Otahuhu team. It is a youthful side continuing to build after a couple of really good years under John Ackland. They challenged for the top 4 last year and are doing so again, once again, in 2019. This is a little bit of a setback, but not the end of the world for the Leopards, who, as Troy mentioned earlier in the game, have played some of the big guns and have some winnable games coming up. They bump the ball forward now via Tanalifi, who has done his best in the middle of the park.
Hold here, hold. Go, nothing late.
Motumoave to Paki, dinks a kick in over the top, chases good from Otahuhu.
Whoa.
Ball is loose, Albrecht's missed it. 0 is the call. Do the Leopards know that as they head out to the right side?
Down it, Corey. Yep, got it. Don't work.
Gillett went very, very late, and that's not been kindly received by the Leopards.
Stay out, Trent.
Wasn't a lot in that one. Perhaps didn't hear the call that time, Royden Gillett.
Corey. Yep.
It was Ben Brewing.
Stay there, Corey. Stay there, Corey. Stand away. Move away. Move away. Trent, bring your ball back, please, mate. Take it back, fellas. Take it back. Royden. Move right back. Got it. Number 2. Go, please, bring
So
it
as that all dies down, we wait for the ruling from
Come on, guys. Me too.
referee McMillan.
Take it back, boys. Take it back, mate. We're all good here. Okay, take them back. Come on, boys. Come on. Start taking these boys back. Take these boys back. Yeah. Take care. Yes. Come back, mate. Right back 10, fellas. Right back, boys. Boys. We've got 2. 2. 1 more.
Good to see
So
the,
time off as we get talking to.
I was just about to say, good to see the trainer out there, Tony in the background, just having a look at his crew. Just gone off screen.
Shout out to Dale Husband in the background as well. New Zealand commentary legend, of course, for many years, bringing you coverage of the Warriors games and plenty of stuff at grassroots level as well. Him and Lewin down here supporting the Leopards, I dare say, today. Both Otahuhu men.
So we're going to have a conference here.
So we're going to stay with the original call, which was a penalty to the Otahuhu Leopards, but the captains are going to get a chat as well. Royden Gillett coming in after the tackle was called complete.
But I don't need boys running it, okay? We can't have that. Okay, mate? So calm the boys down. We get the penalty. Let's play footy. Thanks, mate. Corza, have you got our penalty, Mark? Yeah, it's on the 20. On the 20? On the 20? Yeah.
Mint sponsor on the back of the Otahuhu Leopards jerseys looks mint.
No, just go back. Yeah, number 1. I'll call it held and we'll carry on.
Big thank you to them for their support down here. There's more chats taking place.
Walk away. They're going to get the penalty. Let's play footy. We've got the penalty. Okay?
Nick's probably tell him, no, you need to talk to Nick Evans.
Here's your mark here, mate.
All right, so at the end of all that, we get the penalty, and it will go the way of the Leopards, who with 10 minutes to play are looking to, well, I guess, preserve some confidence out of this match and build towards next week. Unlikely to make a comeback at this stage, but they'll keep trying nonetheless. Here's this man, Richie Halani, one of the true standouts of this team through the first 6 weeks. They go to the line, it's loose, and Wilson will recover. Well,
Heartbreaker.
a disappointing way to finish there for the Otahuhu Leopards on that set, because they really had a whole set up their sleeve and could have put something together, but it breaks down. Now the Howick Hornets will look to work it out from inside their own 20. Dylan Uarte involved in the tackle, slams on the ground 20 metres out from the line. And do join us again next week. We're off to the home of the Bulldogs, Greyland Park. Richmond taking on Point Chevalier. We've got a curtain raiser lined up for that one as well, Troy. Looking forward to bringing you some of the girls' age grade competitions. Of course, those competitions have taken off in the last couple of years after being introduced as pilots. And we will have Richmond taking on Otahuhu in that curtain raiser as Nonona receives the ball and gets taken to ground. Has been fairly well contained today. He's such a dangerous ball runner when he's allowed a little bit of space, but just hasn't been afforded it today, as Mikaeli fights for a little bit of extra yardage. Whakatau Murphy, the dummy half. Got a big fella on his shoulder, but goes straight through for a minute there. Trent Bishop, the man to finish it off, and then hands in the tackle way too long. And another penalty coming up here for the Leopards.
Yeah, and just heard from the sideline head coach, they want to up the tempo. So let's see if the Otahuhu Leopards do that. Here they come, big charge in.
Halani, he has the first carry. Pucky's down in back play. They're without their halfback right now, the Leopards. With 7 minutes and a half to play. Todor Purcell done his very best today. Scored their only try so far. Motumoave, dummies to Patilo. Instead goes to Whakatau Murphy, who will go over.
Great try.
Deserves a try as well. Has been really strong at the back after getting the late call up. And William Whakatau Murphy doubles the lead for the Otahuhu Leopards. 24-8, kick to come.
Let's get the snapshot up on the SAS Fox Memorial Action Replay. And after a wee bit of mounted pressure down here on the Howick Hornets end, all really created from this man. Great run from broken play and had the big arm to get him out across the try line.
So Emiliano Mikaeli to attempt the conversion from in front, which will make it a 14-point lead. It's not quite over yet for the Otahuhu Leopards, but you do have to think, given it's taken 73 minutes to find 10 points, it does look unlikely, but the kick goes over and we go back to work with about 6 minutes to play here at Bert Henham Park. Round 7 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership qualifiers. Pucky is going off in the background as well. So perhaps more costly than just the points today for the Leopards. They may lose their halfback for a bit of time here. That looks as if it may be an ankle injury or perhaps a knee. So Pucky off the field. The Howick Hornets in no hurry to get back to halfway and restart this match.
Yeah, no, he's staying on the field. Just off here off camera, can't see him. There he is. Yep, no, he's bit of water, away we go. Big run from the back gate.
Todor Purcell just about goes through the other side. Good work from Connor Morris to hold on there. Hotene finishing off as well. They're going to move the ball now, and why not? Mikaeli. Patilo comes back infield. This is Potu. A little bit of footwork now from Nuka Nuka, the 21-year-old, mother of the Otahuhu juniors, has represented counties at under 15 and under 17 level. Patilo now. Rahiri will kick in behind and regather Rahiri in the looping ball over the top, and it's called back.
right here.
It was brilliant stuff from the Leopards, but it is called back, and it's all for nothing in the end. Handover to the Howick Hornets, but a credit to George Carmont's side today. They have refused to give up despite the scoreline they are faced with, and that was really nice play to finish with. They're almost deserving of a try, but an infringement in the lead-up means that won't be possible, and with 4 minutes to play, the Hornets will get another chance on the football. They're looking pretty tired themselves as well. It's been a draining encounter in the middle of the park. Both teams looking a little weary because of it now.
Okay, what's the story? Yeah, what's it? Move now! Hold. Go, 1. 18.
Bishop to Tau, who gets put down in a hurry.
Go, 2. Jonah, don't milk it. Play off, 2.
Trent Bishop shaking out of tackles for fun and then gets an offload away to Pulipaki. Boy, there's no letting up in terms of the big men in this Howick Hornets team. Papa to Vuiti Bao, who's had a solid game down his edge. Fighting for a quick play of the ball. Brandon Lee is the dummy half. Will bring play back towards the middle of the park where Hotsuni shuffles play on and it's knocked on by Jones. So the quality's starting to disappear out of this one. Just due, I think, to the frantic nature in the middle of the park. It's been such a physical match, and as a result, we're starting to see a couple of sloppy errors from both teams with this scrum to pack down on halfway. Now, we're going to be bringing you live stream action of the Queen's birthday weekend representative match as well. Auckland taking on Samoa Okalani in the main game. The Auckland team has been named, Samoa to be named tomorrow. And in the curtain raiser, the Auckland under-18s taking on the Mate Maatonga New Zealand under-18s, and we'll have the ball in again here.
Back again, boys. Let's go. Go down, boys. Go down.
So, time off as we restart and pack the scrum again.
Ball in. Hold out. Yeah.
Mikaeli stands up as marker. Boy, in a beaten team, hasn't he been brilliant at the centre? Loses the boot that time as well. Petilo. He's worked very, very hard at dummy half. And now it's Bailey Poto.
Here, boys. Hold here. Wait.
In fact, Leafy again. Easy to get those two mixed up. Nuka.
Here, boys. Wait here.
They're 15 out from the line here.
Go 4.
Looking for another try to rescue some positives from this match, which they will leave feeling fairly disappointed in, you would think. The first half was really where the damage was done.
Here, boys.
Motu Moave at dummy half. He will jump out. Plays to Holani. Quick hands to Mikaeli. They get the try. And it's Emiliano Mikaeli, a deserving recipient of that try. Nice touch as well from Richard Holani. And that makes the scoreboard look a little more kind for the Otahuhu Leopards.
And here we are on the SAS Fox replay. Jumping out of the dummy half there. Just dragged that little defender in. Bookend here, managed to get a nice little pass away. And showed enough strength to carry across for a 4-point try. One thing that strikes me in the back part of this game, Corey, is that the Otahuhu team are really fit. You know, they're I know what their pre-season's like down here, and they get really intimate with these hills behind us. You know, they've played pretty much at the pace that they needed to into the second half. You know, and they've shown enough gas in the tank to get a couple of tries on towards the back end of the match here. But clock's against them, and as it starts to run down, probably just not enough time to keep the ball going as that kick is waved away.
And it remains 24-14 inside the last minute by our count. But Troy, you're quite right to point out the positives for this Leopards team, and a credit to them. They have refused to go away as the siren goes in the background, and that'll be all we get from this one. It is the Howick Hornets who win 24-14 over the Otahuhu Leopards in round 7 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership qualifiers. A very short break before we get back with the interviews with both captains.
Hey, I know what you're saying down there. I just thought initially you'd held on a bit too long. But I know about the striking now. I know what you're saying. Thanks, mate. Well done. Yeah, great work. Yeah, brilliant. Cool. Enough to come close.
All right, we're now joined by Nick Wilson, the de facto captain for the Howick Hornets. Well, Nick, a brutal game, which your body tends to suggest. In this one, boy, it was rough in the middle.
Yeah, no, it's big ups to Otahuhu. Their forward pack is strong and it's dominant, and I felt like they sort of dominated us today. We stepped up a little bit, but yeah, no, it was an awesome game and a real tough game.
The loss of Jethro Friend, how pleased were you with the way you dealt with that?
Oh, Jethro, big loss in the middle way, especially on defence. It just kind of showed they came through our middle a lot. Bruce Charlie really stepped up and it was good. Trent really had a good game off the bench, so yeah, but big loss for us, but yeah, we'll look forward to next week.
Plenty of spark from your halves as well. Carlos Hotani getting the footwork going there. It must be nice to see those guys in action when the defensive line gets tiring.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to have Carlos back with us this year. Yeah, we've missed him for a couple of years, but no, he's really stepping forward, and Jordan's really stepping up as well and coming into his own, so no, it's been good.
5 in a row now for you guys. You must be really happy with how things are travelling so far, Nick.
Yeah, the first 3 weeks it was pretty tough for us. We've sort of gone back to the drawing board and found out what worked, and yeah, it's going real well. Hopefully we build on it.
And yourself, mate, looks like you're nursing a couple of niggling injuries there. You're going to be all good for next week?
Yeah, no, I'll be all right.
All right, Nick, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on the victory, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Awesome. Cheers, Corey. Thanks, mate.
Right, we're now joined by Connor Purcell from the Otahuhu Leopards. Well, Connor, a really good effort from your team, refused to go away in the end, but where did you think you fell short today?
Obviously our start wasn't up to it, Corey. We did 3 easy tries there right at the start. Luckily one of their boys didn't have the kicking boots on today, so kept the score a bit down, but yeah, just from us, our starts really need to improve, especially against quality teams. Yeah.
You must take a fair bit of heart out of the second half effort from your boys, though.
Yeah, definitely. I think a testament to our pre-season, our fitness. We're sticking in there for a full 80 minutes this year, which is a lot different to last year. We've really built on that over the pre-season, and back to the drawing board, and we'll see how we go next week.
You lost Geronimo Doyle this morning. How big a role did that play, obviously, and you guys probably not clicking in attack as you would have hoped?
Yeah, obviously Geronimo, he's a huge part of our team. One of pretty much our field position, our game management leader out there right from the back. So to lose him through illness, which can't help, I guess, in the season change is a bit rough on a Friday. But I think young William, he's been playing up with the 20s. He's come down. He did well on debut, but it's hard to replace a player like Geronimo.
4 wins from the last 5. Things still going very well for you guys, Connor. So thank you for joining us, and all the best for the rest of the season until we catch up with you next time.
Thank you.
Right, so that concludes our coverage, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in action next week from Greyland Park with Richmond taking on Point Chevalier. We've got a curtain raiser for that one as well, so keep an eye on aucklandleague.co.nz for all of the kickoff details. We'll see you then.